In the bustling heart of New York City, where the skyline kissed the clouds and the streets buzzed with energy, Taylor Swift found herself at a crossroads she never anticipated. Her relationship with NFL star Travis Kelce had been a whirlwind romance, capturing the attention of fans and tabloids alike. They were the ultimate power couple, Taylor, the queen of pop, and Travis, the football hero with a heart of gold. Their love story had unfolded like a perfect melody. From romantic dates in hidden corners of the city to supporting each other's careers with unwavering devotion, they seemed destined to be together. But as their relationship deepened, so did the pressures of their public lives. Everywhere they turned, cameras followed, and every move they made was scrutinized. One chilly autumn evening, as Taylor sat on the rooftop of her penthouse, gazing out at the city lights, she felt a familiar pang in her chest. It was the feeling she had learned to trust, the one that told her something had to change. She had always been fiercely independent, creating her own path in the music industry and beyond. And yet, with Travis, she felt the need to conform to an image that wasn't entirely her own. As she sat there, a thought began to form in her mind, one that was as terrifying as it was liberating. What if she took control of her narrative in a way that no one expected? What if she made a decision that would shock the world, but stay true to her heart? The next morning, Taylor woke up with a resolve she hadn't felt in months. She picked up her phone and dialed Travis. The moment he answered, she knew this conversation would change everything. "Hey, Tay, what's up?" Travis's voice was warm and familiar, a comfort she had grown to love. "Travis," she began, her voice steady, "I've been thinking a lot lately. About us. About our future." There was a pause on the other end of the line, and Taylor could almost hear his heart skip a beat. "Is everything okay?" he asked cautiously. Taylor took a deep breath. "I love you, Travis, I really do. But I've realized that I need to take a step back from all of this. From the public eye, from our relationship. I need to find myself again, away from the spotlight." Travis was silent for a moment, processing her words. "Are you saying you want to break up?" His voice was laced with both confusion and concern. "Not exactly," Taylor replied. "I think we both need some space to grow individually, to figure out who we are, without the world watching our every move. I want us to take a break, but not because I don't love you. It's because I do. And I believe that if we're meant to be together, we will find our way back to each other, stronger than ever." The words hung in the air, heavy with meaning. Travis finally spoke, his voice softer now. "I never expected this, Taylor, but if that's what you need, I'll support you. I just want you to be happy." Taylor smiled, even as tears welled up in her eyes. "Thank you, Travis. This isn't goodbye, it's just until we meet again." They ended the call with mutual understanding, both knowing that this was the right decision, even if it was the hardest one they had ever made. In the days that followed, the media went into a frenzy, speculating about the reasons behind Taylor's mind-boggling decision. Fans were shocked, some heartbroken, others supportive. But Taylor remained calm amidst the chaos, focusing on her music and rediscovering the parts of herself that had been lost along the way. Travis, too, threw himself into his game, channeling his emotions into every touchdown and every tackle. He respected Taylor's choice, even though he missed her terribly. He knew that true love wasn't about holding on too tight, but about giving each other the freedom to grow. Months passed, and both Taylor and Travis flourished in their individual pursuits. They stayed in touch, occasionally sending each other messages of encouragement. And then, one day, after what felt like a lifetime apart, Taylor found herself standing on the sidelines of a football field, watching Travis play. Their eyes met across the distance, and in that moment, they both knew they had found their way back to each other. Stronger, wiser, and more in love than ever. Taylor's decision had been mind-boggling to the world, but for her and Travis, it was the best thing they could have done. And as they embraced, the crowd roaring around them, they knew that this time, their love would title The Unexpected Play. Taylor Swift's bold decision. Taylor Swift stood by the window of her penthouse in New York City, the skyline glittering like 1,000 diamonds under the night sky. Her mind was racing, filled with thoughts of her relationship with Travis Kelce, the NFL star who had swept her off her feet with his charming smile and warm personality. The past few months had been a whirlwind. From their first meeting at a charity event to the countless late-night conversations that had slowly turned into something more, Taylor felt like she was living in one of her own songs. Travis was everything she could have hoped for: supportive, funny, and deeply caring. But as their relationship deepened, the pressures of their public lives began to weigh heavily on her. It wasn't just the paparazzi or the endless gossip in the tabloids that troubled her. It was the expectation, the unspoken demand from everyone around them to see their relationship progress in a certain way. The world wanted a fairy tale ending, and Taylor was beginning to feel trapped by it. One evening, after Travis had left for a team practice, Taylor found herself alone with her thoughts. She loved Travis, that much was clear, but she was also fiercely protective of her independence. The thought of giving that up, even for someone as wonderful as Travis, was daunting. Her phone buzzed on the table. It was a message from her best friend Abigail. "How are things with Travis?" it read. Taylor hesitated before typing a response. "Complicated," she wrote back. "I think I need to make a decision." Abigail's reply was swift. "You've always trusted your instincts, Tay. Do what feels right for you." Taylor stared at the message, her heart pounding. She knew what she needed to do, but the thought of it made her chest tighten. Could she really go through with it? The next morning, Taylor invited Travis over to her place. She greeted him with a warm smile, but there was a tension in the air that neither of them could ignore. As they sat down in the living room, Taylor took a deep breath, gathering her thoughts. "Travis," she began, her voice steady but soft, "I need to talk to you about something important." He looked at her, concern etched on his face. "What's going on, Taylor?" She reached for his hand, holding it tightly as she spoke. "I love you, and I cherish every moment we've spent together. But I've been thinking a lot about our relationship and where it's headed. And I've come to realize that I'm not ready to give up the life I've built for myself." Travis frowned, trying to understand what she was saying. "Are you breaking up with me?" Taylor shook her head. "No, not exactly. I want us to continue seeing each other, but I need us to do it on our own terms, not what everyone else expects from us. I don't want to rush into anything just because the world thinks we should." Travis was silent for a moment, his eyes searching hers. Finally, he nodded. "I get it. I've felt the pressure too, but I didn't want to say anything because I didn't want to lose you." Taylor smiled, relief washing over her. "You're not losing me, Travis. I just want to take things at our own pace. I want to make sure that whatever we decide to do, it's because it's what we truly want, not because it's what everyone else wants." Travis squeezed her hand, his expression softening. "You're right, Taylor. I've always admired how true you are to yourself, and I don't want to be the reason you change that. Let's take this one step at a time, together." In that moment, Taylor knew she had made the right decision. It wasn't about conforming to expectations or giving in to the pressures of fame. It was about staying true to herself and her relationship with Travis, and building something real and lasting on their own terms. As they sat together, the weight of the world lifted from their shoulders. They were no longer Taylor Swift, the global pop star, and Travis Kelce, the NFL superstar. They were just two people, figuring out their path in love, one step at a time. And for Taylor, that was the most mind-boggling and liberating decision she could. Title: The Love Playbook. Taylor Swift's bold decision. Taylor Swift stood at the window of her New York penthouse, gazing out at the city lights flickering like 1,000 stories yet to be written. Her phone buzzed incessantly on the marble countertop behind her. Messages of concern, curiosity, and disbelief flooded in. The news had broken just hours ago, sending shockwaves through social media. Taylor Swift had made a decision that left everyone in a state of collective astonishment. Travis Kelce, star tight end for the Kansas City Chiefs, had been the subject of countless headlines since he and Taylor started dating. Their relationship was a whirlwind, the perfect storm of pop culture and sports royalty. Fans from both worlds were entranced by their every move, their every date, and every whispered word. The paparazzi were relentless, and yet somehow, the couple managed to maintain a semblance of normalcy amidst the chaos. But tonight, Taylor had made a choice that no one saw coming. The idea had been simmering in the back of Taylor's mind for weeks. She had been on tour when it first hit her: the constant traveling, the never-ending rehearsals, the performances that took every ounce of her energy. Travis had his own demanding schedule, and while they made it work, there was something missing. The feeling gnawed at her, keeping her up at night. They were perfect on paper, but paper wasn't reality. After yet another sold-out concert, Taylor found herself alone in her hotel room. She stared at the ceiling, her mind racing. She knew what she needed to do, but the thought of it terrified her. Would Travis understand? Would he think she was crazy? Would the world? She didn't want to lose him, but she also didn't want to lose herself. The next morning, Taylor flew back to New York, her heart pounding in her chest. She asked Travis to meet her at her apartment. When he arrived, she could see the concern in his eyes. He had no idea what was coming. "Taylor, what's going on?" Travis asked, his voice laced with worry as they sat down together on her plush couch. She took a deep breath, trying to steady herself. "Travis, I've been thinking a lot about us, about our lives, and how we're both living these crazy, hectic worlds. I love you, and I love what we have, but I've realized something important." Travis leaned forward, his eyes searching hers. "What is it?" Taylor hesitated, then let the words spill out. "I need to take a break from everything. The tours, the media, the spotlight, everything. I need to find myself again, outside of the music, outside of the fame. And I think we need to take a step back too. Not because I don't love you, but because I do. I need to make sure that when we're together, we're really together. Not just holding on while the world pulls us in different directions." For a moment, there was only silence. Travis stared at her, processing what she had said. He was known for his quick reflexes on the field, but this was a different game, one he hadn't been prepared to play. "You want to take a break?" he asked, his voice quiet but steady. "Yes," she replied, her eyes filling with tears she had been holding back. "I need to figure out who I am when I'm not Taylor Swift, the pop star. And I want you to figure out who you are when you're not just dating Taylor Swift. If we're meant to be, we'll find our way back to each other. But right now, I need to do this for me." Travis sat back, exhaling slowly. The weight of her words hung between them like a thick fog. It wasn't what he expected, but he could see the determination in her eyes, the clarity in her voice. He loved her too much to hold her back. "Okay," he said finally, nodding. "If this is what you need, then I'll support you. I'll be here when you're ready." Taylor smiled through her tears, relieved but heartbroken at the